So I bought this Falcon 3D parts light kit that goes with the Bandai Millennium Falcon kit to replace the standard kit that it comes with. But the instructions as to where to place the lights are very limited. There's a picture that they send, but it doesn't show what to do with all the little lights or where you can fit them. So it's taken me a little while, and I've looked at the pictures from the movies, where the lights in the movies all are, and they send us this graphic, but that didn't match either, because the Bandai kit comes with 20 lights. If you get the extended kit, comes with 20 pre-soldered lights, and if you start counting the yellow dots on this graphic, you come out with quite a bit more than 20. So this is what I decided to do, and I've got them numbered here as to where I'm thinking I'm going to place it. Now the kit isn't all built, but I have to show it at this stage because I am going to be covering up some of the lights here soon. So the first two lights coming straight off the controller, I pulled into the cockpit and placed them where it tells you on the standard lights to put them in. So they're behind the two white lights in the back of the cockpit. Then number 3 is going to be where the Bandai kit also indicates a light that goes right there, and it kind of fits. I did have to remove a little middle piece there. Oh, sorry. A little middle piece there, but the light fits just about perfect. Then the next one is number 4. These are the bigger ones, and I'm not sure how I'm going to drill that versus little ones yet, but number 4 will go there. Probably just drill a little bit bigger and use their light holders. I've noticed that there's different sizes on the little light holders, so that would be number 4, and then 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, and one of those goes to the landing gear opening. 10 and 11, 12 and 13, which are on the bigger lights on both sides on the other side here. And then I thought 14 and 15, I want to try and light up the top and the bottom gun turrets. Not sure where I'm going to be drilling those holes yet, obviously, but that there's a little bit of light in those cockpits as well. So you can see the figures in there a little better. So that's 14 and 15. Then 16 is one of the little lights that I'm going to put in the middle, similar as 10, 11, and 5 and 6. And then 17 and 18 are where the kit again has 2 lights in the landing gear. So that's that light and then that light. 17 and 18. Then 19 would be a light that again I'm drilling a little hole for there. And then 20, finally the last light, would be the big light on the other side of where we started. Now it's a little bit of a stretch to start that first one, but I've kind of messed around with it a little bit, and it should, even though it's tight, it should still barely make it once this is assembled. And then they've got those 2 green and red lights. Remember, right is not red or you're dead. At least that's what they taught me when I got my pilot's license. So I'm thinking about maybe putting those here in the bottom on the right, because I have no idea where else I could put a red and a green light. That's definitely not part of the movies or the original kit, but I can add them maybe somewhere there. And then of course the big strip, I decided to put that in that space there. Now they give you 2 options in the kit to put it here or there, and then you'd have to cut a couple of them off. But even on the, I decided to put it here, but even then I still had to cut a couple off, and it doesn't quite fit, because when you start putting these things on there, they can't go all the way down because the light strip is a little bit too wide. So I just cut the top of it off and made it fit. Then I had to open up a little bit there, cut a little opening for the wires. Otherwise they'd be pinched. That's there, and then the speaker will end up going somewhere here, I'm sure. And that's what I figured out so far. And I measured these, and they exactly fit the small one. So I'm going to glue those in there. So per the spec sheet, I've glued the light, well, I don't know what they're called, caps containers in the spots where I drilled holes, including here. The only question that I've had was these two that the kit came with, which is a red and a green light. And there's no such red and green light in the movies or anywhere. But it would be a waste not to use them for something. So I've been trying to think of maybe putting them somewhere on the bottom or at the top. But all of that would be drilling more holes, and I'm afraid that it would just look bad. So my plan right now is to drill tiny holes in this area there, because that's also available and easy to access at the bottom. And then put the lights behind it. So you wouldn't be able to see any of that. It'd be very subtle on the left and the right side. So that's my plan so far. Just testing the lights right now. That's how they will go in the front. I had to use some gel super glue to get that to stay down. I don't want them popping off after I've completed the kit. And a sneak preview. I think it's gonna look really good with the two bigger lights on the sides of the docking ports, I guess those are. So yeah, so far so good. At this point, I'm checking for light bleed. There were several spots that were, as you can see, quite obvious when it came to the light shining through. So I ended up using putty tape and a couple of other things to cover the holes. So before I show you the end result, I thought I'd show you a little bit of the build, how I got from A to B. Now the Bandai kit is very detailed and incredibly complete. There was really only one piece that was missing over one of the docking ports, and I ended up just kind of covering it with another piece. So here you see it, it's obviously half finished, and I just glued something over it, and it ended up looking pretty good. I ended up using the studio model to get my bearings on painting the kit. I thought that that would be looking most like the booklet that came with the Bandai kit. As you could tell, I decided to build it with ramp open and the landing gear extended. So to see the lights underneath, I decided to create a diorama, and here it is. You can see the lights in the background. That turned out to be a fun project as well. The site's called adafruit.com, adafruit.com, and they have these lights, and then they also have these strip lights, and that gave me the idea for the diorama itself. I fitted those lights behind a very Star Wars looking kind of grate, and then I went a little crazy on all the other lights. It required me to relearn soldering, but the end result's really nice, and the reflection of it in that black turned out to be perfect. Yeah, and you can look up the ramp, as you can tell. You can see the lights. Everything turned out to be visible. Okay, the app works pretty well. Obviously, because I've got it in a case, the sound is not as loud, but it's loud enough and it gets the idea. I was asked to show you a more detailed cockpit view, so here you go on that one. I ended up putting some transparent paint on that back panel and coloring several sections different, red, green, and yellows. I think that came out quite nice as well for as small as it is. The reflections ended up having a really nice side effect as well, that you can actually see the bottom turret with Miss Leia is sitting there, manning the guns there. Here's some overall pictures, some close-ups on the weathering that I did, and again, it's very much like the studio model. I also used ModelChili's build as inspiration. He's got a great YouTube channel and goes into great detail on how he built this model. So I thank him for the inspiration and the details on coloring and paints and techniques. I did use a black surface primer, and then I painted the whitish color over it so that when I did the weathering and the scratching, it would show nice deep dark black marks. And now you can also see how I fixed that missing piece there a second ago. So here's some more shots from below. One thing is where I had the cable come out, I actually had to cut a hole, obviously, as you can see right there. And I just made that look like another, gun or rocket hit, and that came out really quite nice as well. Overall, the light kit worked much better than I initially feared when I got such limited instructions. All the lights ended up working great, and as you can tell here, the little flicker on that vent light, the blue light, details like that made the light kit absolutely worth it. So that's it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and for you that are building this, hopefully the ideas about the lights helped you out.